How's it going, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Strictly Nintendo podcast where we are going to talk about Devil's Third. Now, I was excited about this game from the time I first saw it, and I kept being psyched about it despite the negative media attention to the game. And I typically find myself, honestly, being more in line with Japanese gamers than Western gamers. I tend to enjoy games that the Japanese gamers enjoy more so than being, in line with what Western gamers enjoy. So when the relatively positive feedback from the Japanese gamers came around, I was excited. And then, of course, here months later, it finally makes it to North America, and I couldn't be happier. I got this the day of release, and I have thoroughly been enjoying it. Now, is it Game of the Year? Clearly, no. Is it the best game on the WiiU? No. Is it flawless? No. Is it for everyone? No. But it's not bad. It honestly is not a bad game. Would it have had better success, say, if it was a launch title or came out within the first year of the Wii U's life? Yeah, I think it would have been better received. One of the things that I don't know if has been talked about a whole lot, is that it was built on the Unreal 3 engine, if I remember correctly, and the Unreal 3 engine did not support the Wii U, and Itagaki, or Valhalla, the development team, actually had to modify with a specific code. I believe that actually the Unreal team gave them the code necessary to do so, but they had to mod the engine so that it would be compatible with the Wii U. Now, honestly, that was kind of a bad call because there are some clear technical issues with this game. Now, for the most part, the frame rate's stable, but when you get into the high action sequences in the game, there are definitely frame rate issues. When you're jumping from gameplay to some cutscenes, there's a little bit of lag. When you're going from one area of a map to another area and there's an autosave, you're going to have some lag. So there's definitely some issues with the game, but I haven't found these issues to be particularly game-breaking or frustrating. Yes, they're noticeable, but honestly, play this game and then go play Assassin's Creed 3 and tell me which one's more broken. In my opinion, it's not Devil's Third. And then, of course, there is the complaints about the graphics. And most notably, everybody shows that one image of that really poor model, which everybody calls a truck, but it's actually an airplane towing vehicle. So if you look at pictures of an airplane towing vehicle and then look at that image, you'll see, it's clearly not a truck. It is an airplane towing vehicle. Now, I'm not making excuses. That model should have been updated or just completely cut from the game altogether. So, attribute that to Valhalla being lazy or just because of the turmoil of the development history of this game, oversight. Really, it's an insignificant model. It has virtually no relevance to that particular scene and to that particular part of the game other than the fact that you're in an airport when it happens. So overall, are the graphics bad? No, not at all. Are they dated? Definitely. This reminds me of games I used to play on PC back in 2005. So that would equate to a Xbox 360 or PS3 game in 2009, 2010. So yes, it's dated. The sound effects, the graphics, the voiceovers, the acting in general, it's all dated. But, if you were alive in 2005 to 2010 and playing video games, it really shouldn't feel like anything other than it's a game from 2005 PC era or 2009 last generation Xbox, PlayStation. So it is dated, but overall, again, who cares? Is it fun? Is there an interesting storyline? Now, when I first got the game, I was excited about it. I picked it up, I put it in, I was psyched to go. I started playing it, and I felt a little lackluster about the game. But the more I played it, the more I realized that the frame rate issues and the little technical issues, some of the where, if your character's too close to a certain object, you hang up a little bit where the binding boxes of the models are not quite interacting properly, or you got clipping, you kill an enemy and cut them in half or something, and half their body, their legs go flying towards the wall and it clips through the wall and then it kind of starts twitching and stuff like that. But overall, it's really not a big deal. The storyline is, 1980s action film. It's over the top, gory, violent, bloody. I love it. It's everything hokey and cheesy that I wanted it to be. The controls are actually really well done. They're responsive, they're tight, they're smooth. And yes, this is a game that you do want to play with a pro controller. And some of the animations that which change depending on what melee weapon you're using do feel a little bit repetitive at times, but overall it's not a bad experience. And the switching between melee and shooting is really well done, you know? There's a few times I've had some hang-ups, mostly when my gun is running dry and I have to reload. There's a little bit of weirdness in that aspect. The reloading is not as smooth or as fast as I'd like it to be, but the switching between weapons, really well done. Being able to run and then hit your crouch button and be able to slide across the floor and continue shooting, things of that nature. There's a lot of really cool mechanics and really a dynamic range of actions that you can do, which really makes the game quite fun, and it's really challenging. You go through this story, you're seeing all these horrible things happen, you're getting intertwined flashbacks from Ivan, and it's really building up the overall story, which starts to grow on you, and then you have the different enemies, and the different enemies have different tactics and different histories with Ivan, and you have to change your combat style in order to overtake them. There's a lot of really cool aspects to this game. If you've played Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge, if you've played Call of Duty, you know what to expect from this game. It's pretty much Ninja Gaiden meets Call of Duty. Maybe with a little bit of a Splinter Cell-ish feel or Ghost Recon kind of feel because you're in third person. You know, if I had one major complaint about a missing mechanic, I would love to see a cover-to-cover type function where you can take cover behind an object and then look at another object, press a button, and then you make a quick dash to that other object to take cover. Which, one thing is in this game, you just walk up to a wall or something, or if you're crouching, you know, an oil drum or something like that, and you automatically take cover behind it, which I think that's really cool. So I would just like to see a one-button kind of mechanic where you can jump from cover to cover. That would have been really fun. But overall, you know, the storyline's good, the controls are good, the audio, the graphics, everything's good, even though it's dated. It's a really fun game, and I don't find that the technical issues that it has to be game-breaking or frustrating in any way. It doesn't really detract from the game overall. You know, the more I played it, it really grew on me, and the more I'm enjoying it. You know, like I said, it's not the best game in the world. It's not totally groundbreaking. It's not flawless or game of the year or anything like that, but it is a fun game, and it's one that I enjoy. I don't think everybody would enjoy it, but if you do like games like Ninja Gaiden or Call of Duty, Ghost Recon, things of that nature, you know, I think that you would really like this game. Well, you'd like the game anyway, and, you know, maybe you don't want to spend $60 on it. I do think that if it could have hit market at $49 instead of $59, I think that it would have had a better reception, or, you know, have a better market value at that point in time, but still, nonetheless, a really good game. And then you get into the multiplayer aspect, which Itagaki-san himself is really touting that, and it's a really, really fun aspect. You know, you start off, you can customize your character, name them, outfit them, you get to test all the weapons and see how every one of them behaves and kind of choose what you want to go to and so forth. Just, you know, you have to make those plans down the future because you have to play the multiplayer to get golden eggs and in-game currency in order to buy weapons and clothing and so forth. And then you have to go into your training where you have very basic setup and you're literally playing a free-for-all, everybody's an enemy deathmatch, and you're just trying to get as many kills as possible to rank as high as possible so you can get money and buy new gear like outfits, primary, secondary, melee, you know, all the weapons and so forth, and just move up the ranks. But it's definitely a blast to play, and if you've played anything like Call of Duty Online and so forth, you'll feel right at home. It plays really well, and it's really fast-paced, high-energy, high-impact gaming, so it definitely gets the adrenaline going. It's very intense and a lot of fun. You know, and I know many of you have probably heard, if you're going to buy the game, buy it for the multiplayer. That's its gold. You know, that's its hidden gem. But honestly, I think that the campaign is fun. I think both aspects of the game have a great experience to offer, and despite the technical issues it has, I'm really excited at seeing what Valhalla can do. I'd like to see what Devil's Third could be if they had proper development time and conditions and the funding to do so. So I hope that the game does well enough so that Itagaki and Valhalla can work on a sequel, or maybe a new game that just incorporates the mechanics of Devil's Third and then really comes up with a demo of the game that shows great improvement and that Nintendo would want to be part of again, because I would like to see what this team is capable of. There's a lot of potential in this game, and I think given the proper environment and conditions, that Valhalla can do some really great things, and I look forward to the future and seeing what they can do. Again, may not be for everybody, but I'm just saying, if you were on the fence because of all the bad publicity it got from gaming journalists and so forth, don't listen to them. Go on Miiverse, go on Facebook, go on Twitter, go on forums, wherever, and ask people who actually own the game. And if you find it worth the investment to take the risk or, the chance on the game, do so. You might just find out that you're going to have a lot more fun with the game than you expected. And that will do it for this episode of Strictly Nintendo. Until the next one, take care.